So we got new hubs. These hubs are for a Ford, because Bean brought this freaking Mustang over and I've been all about Fords ever since.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Haha. Yeah, you got one. Ordered the Explorer hubs, the bearing and hub, and we're gonna try and get we're gonna try and machine them together so I can, because it takes me from 5.1 to 5.114, which means I can use those rims, these Z rims.
Yeah.
That I can use all this shit because the size becomes an issue with these width-wise.
Right.
2, it lets me put the Explorer rear brakes on the car because I can finagle that.
Yeah.
And then and then the spline will line up for the 8.8.
Yeah, you can use their axles.
I can use their axles, exactly. I'm trying to keep as stock as possible. Right. Wow. So yeah, we're gonna try and get these hub bearings pressed into the rear arms here somehow. Wow, this bearing doesn't even fit in between the lug nuts. My lord. So yeah, we're gonna have to get some machining done to the rear knuckles and whatnot to make this work. But this was the first step, was to get these parts so we can see about making some shit work. Hey, that right, Beam? Okay, with clip too. But this takes us to an ability to run our new disc, and it gives us our 5x1.114, and it gives us our big 31 spline axles, so we don't break shit, or so we don't break shit as much, right?
The advantage that you have is weight.
The what?
The advantage that you have is weight.
I don't weigh a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so that came in. That'll be us getting into that one. We gotta get the car up on the lift where we can dedicate, or get it up in the air somewhere where we can dedicate some space and time to it. But so those are parts that came in for this thing. All right, so we got some progress made here. Let me get some light. So unfortunately, we were not able to save the factory gas tank location, which sucks. But it is what it is. But with it out, there is so much room for activities here. But unfortunately, we do not have the clearance between the frame rail right here and our axle, so we're gonna have to back half this whole car. We'll end up cutting it about here, cutting everything across here, taking the whole back out, raising the floor. Whole ton of work, so looks like no one's getting in the garage for a while. We'll update you when we do more. So I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. So what I figured out is that basically I'm gonna have to back half of the car, and we're going to do a canted 4-link. So that being said, we need to take some steps going forward for this. One is we need to get the car braced up for the amount of stuff we're gonna take out of the back. So we have to take everything out of the car. Awesome. And then basically we need to attach some cross members between here and up there at the B pillars, at the very least, in order to get some rigidity into the car so that when I cut it up, it doesn't fall off and doesn't, warp the car weird or break it or do anything like that. Which means all this crap that's in there has to come out. The other thing about that is we need to put it under its own weight on the ground before we brace it to hold it where it should be. So that being said, we have to put the rear suspension back in the car. We took it out because, well, we didn't realize we were going to be cutting up the car like this. Them's are the brakes sometimes. That's how it goes. So we're not going to put the gas tank back in, obviously. We're just going to put the rear subframe basically the rear subframe back in the car, put the shocks back in the car, put the car on its own weight, and then we're going to basically roll it. Actually, I don't know what I'm gonna do at that point. I'm gonna end up doing it over here where the Pontiac is. So that's gonna have to be moved around too. So that's basically what we're gonna do today. I'm going to put it up back in the air, put the suspension back underneath it, get it back on its own wheels, get it all mobile again, because that's the other problem. Right now we can't move it. And this is going to take a lot longer than I was anticipating it was going to take. With my original hope was that I could 4-link it into the space that I had right now, and that's just not going to happen. There is not enough room. At ride height right now, we are dealing with about 2 inches of space for suspension travel. That's just not going to work. So, with that being said, we're going to pull everything apart, do what I've already said that 100 times. So we're going to go on that, and then I will check back in with you guys as I make some progress. All right, so we made some progress. Got the entire rear end of the car ripped apart, and now we can get an idea what we need to do here. So I believe our tubs will be plenty big enough if I run out to the end of the strut tower here, and I bring that straight back. And I move my gas door that I got going on here. And I'll do the same thing here. If it comes straight across and then goes straight forward, we should have enough room for a fat tire. We'll see. It's gonna be one of those where we have to cut some things and see. But I don't want to modify the C if I don't have to. That's the really important part. So we'll see how it goes and see where we end up. But that's what we're gonna get done today. Tomorrow, I think we'll move the cars around, probably clean up a little bit, get a better idea what we're doing, and get this thing situated where it's gonna be. This way we can get the crossbars. We gotta run our crossbars from our B pillar up there and our B pillar up there, and we're gonna tie those in probably on or about right here and here to give it some rigidity so it doesn't want to rotate or tweak on us, and then probably do some other bracing to sturdy it up for when we cut everything out. But that's where we got today, and we'll check in with you guys tomorrow. So today we're going to go ahead and get in here So we're gonna get in here, we're gonna weld some cross members in. So we're gonna have to get these from the B pillars all the way back to back here where the hatch is. And by doing that, that'll strengthen up our our rear end. Because we're gonna end up cutting out the majority of all of this flooring. Well, realistically, we're gonna cut out everything. Starting about up there where the top of the pillars are, or front of the pillars are, all the way across, take the whole thing out. So it doesn't walk around on us, we're gonna have to do some, you know, bracing and whatnot. We don't want anything to move or get crazy or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and get some of the metal prepped and get this thing nice and set up. The goal for tonight is I want to get the bracing all set up in the car. So the first thing I kind of really need to figure out is exactly where these are going to land. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of debating going as high as I can here and tacking them in up there. I think that's going to be my best bet, is to go as high as possible. Because I don't want to be right in here, because right where this is at right here, because that's where my my seatbelt goes and my adjuster and everything, and I haven't decided if we're getting rid of seatbelts or not, so I don't want to mess that area up. Up there's not a whole lot that goes there, and that should be structural enough in order to get us what we need. So that's what we're going to do. We'll clean up that spot up there, and then we'll roll the welder out and start tacking some things. Alright, so we're going to try and hide most of this stuff so we don't catch the whole car on fire. Got a welding blanket here so I don't, again, catch the whole car on fire. Crap, the door's closed. Boom. All right. So now I just need to make a few adjustments and weld this thing in. All right, so we got the crossbars all up and in. We're tacked in down, or welded actually, we're more than tacked. We're welded in down here, and then I welded one going down to the floor where we're not going to cut, just to give it some support in the center because it was kind of flimsy this way. So that's good. We're tied in good up there. We're X'd, we're tied together, so it shouldn't be able to twist, sway, go up or down, or any of that stuff. So I'm actually pretty stoked with how this came out. I used this all bar because this is stuff I had laying around, got from a buddy who had some extra laying around and needed to get rid of it. So I knew I'd use it for something. Didn't realize I'd use it for this, but better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I think I'm going to call it for tonight. It took a lot longer to do that than I thought it was going to. And I don't feel like trying to put this thing up in the air by myself. And it's also going to be quite the ordeal because these 12-ton jacks are so tall, it's going to take a bunch of going up a bit, putting a jack stand, going up some more, putting a different jack stand, going up some more, and putting the other jack stands. So I don't think I'm going to start that at, what time is it? It's 11:30 at night, so yeah, no, I'm not starting that right now. But this was the first big thing. There's plenty of room for me to get in here around the structure that I put in order to cut out the floor and everything we're going to need to cut out of this thing. So realistically, it's a good starting point. From here, we will start cutting out the floor and figuring out what we're going to do from there. So, all right, I'll check back in with you guys later.